Yeah.
Okay. We'll close the public hearing. All right.
Move to approve the Summit Shasta Charter renewal petition.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is where we clap. Thank you. Making progress.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome to stay, but it is very exciting what goes on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, you guys. No, I forgot to
Happy
note
holidays.
the public hearing. Probably missed that little note.
Oh yeah, he's locked in.
Yeah. All right. Crowd got a little smaller. Okay, so we're moving items 16A, B, C, and D up. And we'll start with our communications board report. There are no student advisories here with us tonight. They're all studying hard.
Yeah, it's finals.
It's finals week, so we gave them the night off. We'll start with our own board report with Andy.
Sure. So I'll just make it pretty quick. A couple of weeks ago, I think we were all at the California School Boards Association annual education conference. I was also there a couple of days earlier for their delegate assembly. I think we would agree there were a lot of good sessions that we all attended. A couple that jumped out for me was, I think, that final general session with Dr. Ruman Chowdhury, who spoke about the use of AI, and she's an AI expert, and she really, at least for me, really debunked any fears I have about AI and basically reminding us that it is a tool that we need to learn how to use wisely, as with any other technological change that we've all experienced in our lifetimes over these past several years. So that was really good. It was also good to see a gubernatorial and state superintendent candidate forum. Good to hear from the different candidates about where they stand, especially on education issues. If you have any questions about any of them, I'm certainly happy to speak to anybody who might be interested in hear at least some of my impressions of what some of these candidates had to say. But a lot of good networking amongst our fellow board members across the state, and certainly within the county and the larger Bay Area.
Thank you, Andy. Mark? Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so I also attended CSBA, but one of the sessions that really stood out to me was by Sarah Garcia, who's a managing partner with Lozano Smiths. And one of the things that she really highlighted in her talk was the language that we use, especially in our policies around discipline, like specifically the word discipline, especially around special education, special needs kids, minority kids. And so just being cognizant of using that word and the negative connotation has already been associated with the word itself. And I actually noticed on our policy on the website, if somebody went to our website, we actually have the word discipline or disciplinary exactly about 26 times. So that to me was just like, oh yeah, I need to bring this back to our district. So that was kind of like the big aha moment for me, that just certain words like that can really be profound. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, but I do have a few other words to share with the district. And let me just confer with my colleague here. All right, sorry about that. Thank you. So first, I want to start off by recognizing that this week our district experienced a profound tragedy. Our hearts go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of the student we lost. We hold them in our thoughts, and we recommit ourselves to caring for our students, not only as learners, but as whole human beings. And I would just like to take a few seconds for a moment of silence to appreciate the life. Thank you. Now, with that, this is going to be very difficult. I did prepare something to read out, and I'm just going to read. Try not to tear up a little bit. I'm a very emotional person. My family's here, and they know this. Okay, so here it goes. Our colleagues, staff, students, and members of the Jefferson Union High School District community. Today, I formally stepped down from my role as a trustee on this board. This decision is not one I take or make lightly, but it is a necessary one as I'm moving out of the district, and by law, I legally have to resign. Although my tenure has been shorter than I really hoped, it's been deeply meaningful. I'm incredibly proud of what this board and this district have accomplished together. At a time when schools around the state are closing, we actually were able to balance our budget, actually in a surplus. We're actually able to provide, a raise to our teachers. Even more importantly, we continue to really advocate for what we believe in. That is not a small achievement. It reflects discipline and leadership, shared priorities, and a commitment to valuing the people who make our schools run. One of the most important lessons I take from this experience is a deeper appreciation for how much teachers, school administrators, and staff do every single day, often quietly, often under immense pressure in order to keep our schools functioning, supportive, and moving forward. The work is very complex. This 1 year has literally been like drinking water out of a hose, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. It's demanding, it's frequently unrecognized, but serving alongside you all has really given me a new level of respect and gratitude. I'm also particularly proud of the progress this district has made around equity. While there is still much work to be done, and there always will be, I believe we have laid important groundwork. Equity is not a destination, it is a continuous practice, and I am encouraged by the seriousness and care with which this board approaches it. What I will miss most, however, is the people. I will miss the sense of camaraderie that exists on this board, the laughter we've shared during long meetings, the joy of celebrating Student of the Month awards, the presentations highlighting each school's growth, challenges, and successes, and above all, the passion, the genuine, unwavering commitment each of you brings to this work on behalf of our students. This experience has given me both the drive and the insight to continue serving in meaningful ways. I'll leave this role more committed than ever to contributing to systems that uplift communities, support educators, and center students. Thank you for the trust you placed in me. Thank you for the work you do. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this team, even for a short while. It has truly been an honor. That's it. Mic drop.
Thank you, Marty.
So I will reserve my remarks about you for later. Although I loved everything you had to say. Since you brought up the loss of a student, it's really heartbreaking, and I want to thank our district staff, our wellness counselors, who and everyone who helped come together to provide grievance services, because it's very difficult. And I want to support our adults who have to go through this, and who supports them when they've done everything they can. So this just makes me want to work harder for our students and for our staff, because especially our wellness counselors, they carry a lot. And they helped my daughter when she was going through something, and who holds them up. I'll be there as much as I can for you. Let's see. So I agree with everything Mr. Lee said about the CSB conference. It was a great time for all of us to be together, to have solidarity, to enjoy our time together as people, and to really, I loved how we would go to different workshops and really discuss what we liked or what we could take away from it, or what sometimes we felt like, well, we're not really getting much out of this workshop, as that happens sometimes. But it still created created conversations. And then as soon as I got back, I really wanted to, I attended the Adult Transition Program culminating exhibit at the Creativity Explored location in the Mission. And it was just so gratifying to see our students sharing their works, and after spending so much time in the program and presenting, their works to us. So I want to thank Mr. Bashir's, his staff, the paras who put a lot of work into the program and helping our students, and our teachers, our students especially, and their parents, because their guardians. It was just a lovely, lovely event. And with that, I turn it over to Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Rosie.
I too attended the CSBA conference, or the annual education conference in Sacramento, and I too would like to share a few words about it. It's refreshing, renewing, and inspirational to go and share this time with other people involved in supporting the educational efforts of our districts. You make a few connections, maybe. You hope to be inspired by the speakers. And I heard someone describe our board's time and the superintendent's time together as team building. And I agree that's a good description. I think another description might be maybe if you go on a trip with your family, and the time you spend together just builds relationships. So that's how I'm going to describe it. I saw a particularly, for me, motivating session on middle college. I'm glad that we have a program with Skyline that's working out. Is it at all the high schools now? Middle college? It's not good. We get a little presentation on that every year, so I'm looking forward to that this year, because I think that's a pretty solid program. In other news, I got out and saw the Terra Nova JV soccer team, JV and varsity soccer teams play. I think in the next few years, I'll be seeing a lot of that, but it was my first experience, and I think you should get out there too and just see what our students are doing, whether it's soccer or robotics or music. And I know that mock trials coming up in February. Take a chance to support our students. I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I get to again and again. Ms. Tejada mentioned, the tragedy of of one of our students, and I hope that, if anyone needs me to be a resource, that you can reach out to me. I don't know that there's much I can do except for be supportive, but I can do that. So please feel free to ask. Hope I can add value. I'm really proud of our staff. A lot has happened in about 6 years. And well, maybe now it's 10 years. the United States is different politically. The world is different politically. We had COVID, which is, I think, not done changing us. And so they keep rolling with all the punches, to keep our students going. And I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrep. All right, a little order of business before I start with my board report. Ms. Presta, the board and I would like to direct you at this time to begin the process of appointing a provisional appointment on behalf of Marty's announcement.
Thank you.
Okay. Just kind of speaking about supporting each other. I know we had something happen in our district, but more than that, I just kind of want to just make sure that everybody's reaching out to the people that they love, especially around the holidays. This is kind of one of those times where people really get into their heads, and it's tough. People that are lonely and don't have families and support. So whoever's listening out there, you just know that you're supported and you're loved, and there's places to go and people to talk to. So you're not alone. So just want to offer that to everybody that's listening, to everybody that's here watching. As far as what I was up to, of course, I was with my colleagues here at the CSBA conference, and it was awesome. Just like they all said, it's kind of interesting to meet with all these other districts and people around the state and kind of hear what their stories are and how things are working in their districts. And you kind of take for granted, how good we actually have it here in our area with our district, the things that are going on. It's, things are going pretty smooth considering everything that's going on in the world and in our country. I'm proud of all the work that's going on in our state with these school boards and with the, CSBA, and how they're trying to bring us all together to divide and conquer this big task of educating our children. It is monumental, the things that you got to do to care for our kids, So it's really cool to be a part of that. And, every time I go down there, I learn a lot more, and I've grown a lot closer with these guys, and it's been fun. Last Tuesday, I was at Daly City Hall, and we had a couple of our schools that were presented by the mayor of Daly City with the Freedom Fighter Award for their work on our ethics studies. So I thought that was really cool too, to have them, rewarded for all their hard work and everything in front of their communities, and to show that, we're really trying to, put forth the effort in educating our kids on things like that. I was also, Saturday, I went to Jefferson High School's music band recital. It was called The Gifts, and it was kind of like a play / musical. The music was amazing. Really, really well done. The kids were doing so many things. They were playing instruments, running around off stage, changing into costume, acting, and then running back on stage, moving things around to try to make room for everything else. It was a lot of work, but they did a great job, and I was really proud of them. And I wanted to write down one of the songs that I really liked, but I can't remember it. So anyways, it was really cool to be there and see all the hard work that went into that. So, yeah, I think that's it for me. I'll turn it on over to Miss Tony Presta.
Thank you. I'm going to start with happy stuff. I wish that I could be in more places than I physically can be, because I think like all of our schools have musical performances and just so many things happening right now. And it's at a time when I know I'm crazy busy trying to get ready for holidays, et cetera. So I try to really show up in our community for everything. And then I end up at a lot of things. I don't go to everything, but at this time of year, I can't go to everything. And so thank you to all of the staff members who make it possible for our students to have these wonderful experiences. Because while, I was a teacher and very focused on academics, school is a lot more than academics. It's the arts and it's music and it's sports and it's all of that. So thank you for bringing that joy to our kids. I won't say more about CSBA, but ditto to what was said. It was a good experience. And I want to thank Principal Bashirs and the staff at ATP, because the Creativity Explored, the culminating exhibition, is one of my highlights. It was awesome. And Stephanie Phillips was there. There were several of us there. Lee Medvedoff was there. I'm trying to think anybody else. And there were many people there to be there for the kids on a Saturday morning. So it was really nice. I also want to thank the Mayor Rod Daskmagbual, who recognized all of our schools for their ethnic studies programs. He called it the Mayor's Freedom Fighter Award. And I think many of us were there that night too, after getting back from CSBA. So thank you to the board for showing up to acknowledge the hard work that we're doing. And there are districts who are kind of going under the radar when it comes to their equity work and their ethnic studies work. And we have made the choice not to do that. And so I'm proud of us. And then I guess I'm going to save my Marty remarks for later. I just want to say that it's a funny time of year because it's very joyful and there's families and friends. And it's also, as President Gallegos said, it can be a difficult time for many people around the holidays. So I want to acknowledge that. And this past weekend was particularly tragic on many levels. Brown University, Bondi Beach, anti-Semitic shootings, Rob Reiner, it was just like we were sort of hit. And then we came back and we had a loss of a student. So it's been particularly hard. And I don't want to get choked up. It was been particularly hard. And for many of us, it was just sort of too much, too much. And so I just want to acknowledge that and really I'm so very grateful to work in this district. And I'm grateful to all of the people who work here and support our students. And I hope that everyone, I think most of executive cabinet's taking the next 2 weeks off, which we don't normally do. And I hope that most of us in this district have enough time, whether it's the full 2 weeks or not, have some time to kind of rest and feed our souls so that we can get back to it in January for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Presto. All right, Laura, moving on. 16C, are there any board subcommittee reports this evening?
Just one real quick. Mr. Walker and I were both at the EHC Educational Housing Corporation board meeting on Thursday. Not a whole lot discussed there other than just a quick budget update for the first half of the year. And then also that was also the restructure of that board's officers. So we now have Brianni Phelps as the president, Michelle Fortunato Kuhn is the vice president, and Jean Enriquez is the treasurer/secretary.
Wonderful. Who is the president? Sorry.
Brianni Phelps.
Okay.
She's been on.
Yeah.
She's been on since inception.
Yeah, great.
Cool. Thank you, Andy. Okay, 16D, our AFT Local 1481 report. Monica Casey.
Good evening, board. I just have two things. One, we're still trying to organize ourselves to support ICE. I know that downtown San Francisco, they had some people show up this morning super early. I didn't get the information till later. And so I'm still sending out that information. So check our website. It hasn't been updated lately, but I think this week we're probably going to update it. if you want to support. And last week, I attended the ECTK 12 Council for CFT, and I brought 2 of our members with me, 2 of my board members with me, and it was nice to have more people kind of see what it is that we're doing and what the president and our union does. So interesting you brought up AI. I think that we were thinking about it in some other ways as well. So maybe we can come together and talk about the things we need to make sure are either in board policy or in our contracts. So that's about it.
Thank you,
And
Monica.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays. All right. Moving on. So we are now at 11A, which is 11 is a governing board annual reorg. And we'll start with item A, which is the election of a new board president. And my last task as current board president.
All right. Move to elect Charette Walker as board president.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bud.
Oh, gosh.
Post haste. Move.
Can't have my jacket though.
What a commute.
That was fast. Keep fast. Item 11B is to elect a board vice president.
I nominate Rosie Tejada for vice president.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on up.
Did you move your name tags?
Not yet.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Item 11C is to elect a board clerk.
All right. I'd like to nominate Andy Lee.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll move all those things after the break.
Yeah.
Item 11, it's actually 16, isn't it? Oh, no, it is 11. Item 11D is to appoint a board secretary.
Move to appoint Tony Press as our board secretary.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 12, recognitions and commendations. A, we will have the honoring of Jerome Gallegos, past JUHSD board president. Mr. Cho, would you like to begin with some remarks?
Oh, absolutely. Jerome, I think you took the presidency right on my first year on the board. And it was just really good to have somebody that can go, like, as a user, the sounding board, it was like, this is a lot. And you just look at me like, it's a lot too. It's like literally drinking water out of a hose. I actually think I got that term from you. But to watch how much you've just been able to just catch up and just get into it, like, it's really, it's amazing. man. Like, I'm truly inspired by you and your leadership, and just the grace and the way you just do all that with still like such humility for being such a big, terrifying dude, but you still have this ability to just like be cool, calm, and collected. And just, it speaks that you are rooted to the community. Right? The fact that you went to a high school here, your kids going to school here, like, to me, I'm just like, yeah, that's the kind of community member I really want to be. So thank you for that inspiration. I really, really have enjoyed serving with you.
Jerome, heck of a job this year. Really, really nice job. You really came into your own. I know that it's the first couple of meetings are never that easy. I know what that's like, and so you really took to it quite well. Your leadership was great, and you really just you led with grace and humility, and that is those are traits that we all need to carry as board members, and you carried it exceptionally well this year. And you really, it's your third year on the board. You've just completed your third year on the board. You've really settled in as a board member, and it's really been fun to see your growth over these past couple of years, but most particularly this year. Incredible job. You got it.
Hey, Jerome. You're an outstanding board president, really great leader. It was so nice to sit back and watch you take over in such an unassuming but strong way. And I always loved hearing your comments whenever we had the students come up. Your questions were always insightful, but I think you and Marty reminded me of what it's like to be newish on the board and to see things through that lens. And working together, I felt like we grew together too, because I'm learning from both of you always. And so I have, 4 brothers on this board, and it's been fantastic. I'm the big sister, so y'all do what I say. No, but I love you, and I'm really looking forward to continue working together and just hearing your words. Thank you.
Jerome, thanks so much for your leadership and teaching us so much about loyalty. We started at the same time, so I think I have the best perspective on the progress that you've made, especially since I don't think I've made the same progress. So congratulations. I've come to see through our agenda planning meetings how organized you are, how careful you are with process, and I've seen how well it served us all. Hoping that I can become more organized and trust process so that I can be as successful. I think along the way, you've done a great job of identifying our goals, which are all about supporting the students. One way that we support the students is students and families and staff. I wrote that down. I didn't say it. And I think that the way you've been able to do that has made our goals really clear. And I always come back to this, my first annual education conference. The first speaker talked about, your job as a governing board member is to love as hard as you can. So I think you've achieved that. And I might say this more than once tonight, we will miss your love.
Thank you, Shred. And I think maybe one day we'll find out who that Brady air truck belongs to out there that you've been wondering about all these years.
Ms. Presta.
Thank you. Jerome, thank you, Charette. I've been lucky enough to know Trustee Gallegos for many years because I was principal of the school that his eldest daughter went to. And so I knew when you started that you are filled with integrity. You're filled with love and compassion and kindness and strength. So I knew these things, but this is very new to you, this whole idea of being a trustee. And so, I certainly can't get into your head or your emotions, but I think, you were like, oh, wait, what is it? This is a lot. And I just have to say that, I've shared this with you personally, but I kind of want to say it publicly. You have done an outstanding job as board president this year. And I'm so grateful for your leadership because we've encountered many challenges and we will continue to encounter challenges. And, the relationship between a superintendent and their board is very important. And I trust all of you. I believe you trust me. It's very important. And, I'm just really grateful. And I want to echo what Trustee Walker said, what President Walker said, that you were really, really organized, really, really organized. And that's really important, And I also want to echo what Vice President Tejada said, that I really love listening to the comments that you make. You're very insightful and you like winging it, you're like listening and you hone in on the important aspects and you're encouraging of the students and you will continue to be that person on the board, but it's been really great to have you as our leader. So thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, this is, I'll make it quick, but this has been a hell of an experience. Now I wrote a few things down so I didn't forget, to thank certain people, but I do want to thank my beautiful wife, Carla, and my three amazing children, English, Jersey, and Jerome, for sharing me and the time that I've spent with you guys, and my commitment to serving our community and the district. Their patience and encouragement really helped me get through this because it's a lot, it's more than I thought it was going to be, but it's been really rewarding for me to be up here with all of you guys. And I'm super thankful for this current board, Andy, Rosie, Charette, Marty, Kalima, you guys giving me your guidance and the trust and the space to just learn and grow how to do this with you guys and just serving alongside you guys. It's reinforced in me that leadership isn't just one person. It's teamwork. And, it's our shared purpose and our shared purpose. And the one thing that I told all of you guys when you interviewed me to, just to see if I was willing to take part in joining the board was it was all about the kids. And that's the one thing that always stood out to me. That's the one thing that will continue to stand out to me is just how much I love my children and the children of my community and how much I want to see them do well. It means the most to me. It's also been, I want to thank our superintendent, Ms. Presta, and under her amazing cabinet. You guys have been awesome to work alongside. The strong partnership and all the hard work that we've all done together is just truly appreciated. And when I see that commitment to our students and I see how much work you guys all put into this, it really makes me proud to be part of this. And I want to thank our schools and all the administrators and the teachers for all the care and all the energy and all the heart they put into all their students every day. All that work that they do, it really matters and it shows. And just in the few years that I've been here, just seeing the growth in our schools and everything that we've accomplished in a short amount of time and what we're trying to do it's inspiring. And then finally, I just want to thank our community for trusting in all of us and in our schools with their children and allowing us the opportunity to grow alongside them. It's been an honor and it's been a privilege to serve with you guys. And I'll definitely always be grateful for that experience. So I appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys.
Item 12B is the honoring of Martinine Cho. Oh,
12A1.
phew. Mistake number one. Item 12A1 are the acknowledgements from local and state legislative offices for President Gallegos. Sorry, President Emeritus Gallegos.
To be exact. And so Denise Shreve is not here tonight. So what I'm going to do is read off the acknowledgements from the legislators, and you've got a gavel that you can take home with you, that the district that we have for you, so that he can bang the gavel when he needs attention at home, Carla. And then what I'm thinking is then maybe after we do this and we acknowledge Marty, then one of us can take a couple pictures after. Okay. So first off, there's a commendation from the Board of Supervisors of San Mateo County for your dedicated service to the Jefferson Union High School District and exceptional leadership as board president, and for your steadfast commitment to civic engagement and the well-being of all Pacifica residents, although they accidentally left out the other cities. We also have Daly City and Brisbane and Broadmoor and Colma, particularly our youth and underrepresented communities. The board hereby extends its sincere gratitude and looks forward to your continued service and advocacy on the Jefferson Union High School District Board. From the county. Okay, then we've got from Congressman Kevin Mullin's office. A certificate of recognition presented to Jerome Gallegos in recognition for your leadership and commitment to students as the board president, board vice president, and a trustee for the Jefferson Union High School District. As an alumni and graduate of JUHSD, your dedication to supporting your community is valued and an inspiration to others. Your time working with the student advisory and coaching soccer has made a lasting impact. We've got from Senator Scott Wiener's office. Jerome Gallegos, 2025 Board President, Jefferson Union High School. I hereby award this certificate of recognition in honor of your leadership and dedicated service to the Jefferson Union High School District. Your commitment as trustee, vice president, and 2025 board president has not gone unnoticed. Congratulations on your recognition and thank you for your service. Couple more. Senator Josh Becker. On behalf of the residents of the 13th Senate District, thank you for your dedicated service on the Jefferson Union High School District Governing Board. Your leadership and commitment have strengthened the district and supported the success of its students, families, and staff. We are grateful for the lasting impact of your service and extend our best wishes as you continue your work as a trustee and embark on future endeavors. From Catherine Stephanie. Assembly member, Catherine Stephanie. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I'm honored to recognize your service as board president of the Jefferson Union High School District. Your continued hard work, dedication, and passion for serving the students in your district is admirable. Thank you for your leadership and vision for the diverse student and staff population of this learning community. I wish you all the best, and may your work continue to bring everlasting change to the JUHSD for years to come. And finally, Assembly Member Mark Berman. On behalf of the 23rd Assembly District, thank you for your dedicated service as president of the Jefferson Union High School District Board of Trustees. Your time as board president of the Jefferson Union High School District represents your lasting commitment to investing in our students, teachers, and their families. Your thoughtful and responsive contributions towards students demonstrate strong leadership that will continue to impact our community for years to come. I extend my best wishes as you continue your work as a trustee and embark on future endeavors. And then, Oh, you can't actually. It's attached.
We know that.
I didn't know that. So on behalf of the Jefferson Union High School District, Jerome, this plaque just signifies your term as 2025 President, Board of Trustees, and our thanks to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Can I hand them to you when we get up? Okay, beautiful.
Item 12B. It's the honoring of Martinine Cho, Jefferson Union High School District Board Trustee.
All right, I'll start off. Well, Marty, congratulations, first of all, on a new family and on potentially a new home. We won't keep it right there. We know it's happening. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bummed out that you have to leave us. You were definitely a good fit here with us. You brought, a different aspect to our board that we needed, I think, and I think the way you emphasized your love for mental health and physical health and all that. I mean, I think that really went well with a lot of what we're trying to accomplish here with our students and our schools. And it was, really fun getting to know you, obviously, and chit-chatting here and there and getting to know your personality and hearing your story a little bit, of how you got to where you're at now and learning about your cool app that you have and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we learned a lot in a short amount of time. And I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed making friends with you. And I hope, looking forward to continuing that friendship. And, good luck.
Thank you. And yes, we will stay friends.
All right, Marty, we went together to sign up for me to re-up as, my paperwork to be a board trustee and for you to sign up for the first time.
Yep.
So we drove down together and took the oath of office together and all of that. And here we are, bummed that you are heading out, but grateful to have become friends with you over the past year and a half. And also just the excitement I know for me, knowing that we had a medical professional, a healthcare professional on the board, which we haven't had, at least not in my time on the board. So it was really great to have your perspective and being able to see education through your healthcare lens. You've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot from you because it's the diverse perspectives that we all each bring, and you brought a very necessary one, and I am very appreciative of that, and I'm very proud and happy to call you a friend.
Oh, don't make me cry. Dixis.
Hello, Liam's daddy.
Yeah.
This is a really bittersweet moment because I really enjoyed having you on the board. Like Andy said, we've formed such a great friendship on this board, and the different perspectives that you offered, especially as a medical professional and as an immigrant to this country, you're able to you're so relatable to our community. And I just think it is so great for our students to see that, I did it, you can do it too. And you're so positive. And I continually learn from you. Even when, during our meetings, even just the questions you asked, because you had a different insight. And I would so many times that's a great question. I wish I thought of it, but I'm glad he did and that he asked it. And I'm going to miss that. But we are lifelong friends. And I am going to be part of your pilot program. You're going to help me with my health.
Yes.
And I love you, and you're a beautiful family. And we'll see each other a lot. But thank you again. So grateful for you.
I've spent 3 years on the board now. The first year, I sat on Rosie's left, and I might have to run again just so I can sit on Rosie's left again, so I don't have to follow her. Well said. Well said. Marty, I'm going to echo our colleagues a little bit. I really want to commend you for your commitment to wellness, which I really think is all about what I like to talk about, all that love. So thank you. I also, I'm going to miss your unique perspectives. I don't know if you put it this way, but you've always been education first, or perhaps it's education most important, if not first. It might be health first. You know, you come with a perspective of someone who's not from California, which I think is important. You come with the perspective of someone who's lived in a different country, which is important. And you come with a perspective of someone of relative youth.
He called me a senior citizen earlier.
AARP's coming for me. I don't remember who said it. Also, I think Vice President Tejada said it. You all very, very much so positive. And I think you've in different ways been helpful to all of us personally as well as professionally. Thank you very much. I'm certain there is a school board in the place where you're going to. Perhaps you have some health perspective for them.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll be far, but even when you are long gone, we will miss your love. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Ms. Presta?
Thank you. Marty, I will miss you. I was so grateful. I'm not sure that everyone knows how hard it is to find really good board members, but let me tell you, it's very hard and it's a commitment. So not everybody has the time and space to make that commitment. And Marty, you didn't have a child in the district. You didn't have a child at that point. Now you do, who's a long way from high school. But I'm so grateful that you took on this challenge because it's oftentimes parents, which is great. But it was, as has been said multiple times, it's really nice to have somebody with a different perspective that brings some fresh eyes to schooling. And it made me, think a lot about in a board meeting, like not using acronyms and explaining ourselves. And then I'm reminded that there's a lot of people watching this board meeting who maybe don't know all the acronyms and everything that we're talking about. So that was good for me to remember. But mostly I've been grateful for your very positive attitude and demeanor. And that really from the get-go, you were like, yes, okay, yes. And that's just so refreshing. You came at this job with a learner lens, with a learning lens. So, a year ago at CSBA, you spent a whole day at the new board member workshop, and there's a lot of learning. It is like drinking from a fire hose. It's a whole new language. And there's a lot to learn in that first year. So I'm sorry that we're losing you after year one, because I just know that, you're just going to get better and better. So there are school boards everywhere. And I do hope that you go back to it so that you benefit another school district. But I know that you're not far at all. And I'm looking forward to seeing. I was very happy that we were able to meet the baby. I'm sorry that I guess this was bedtime, but I'm glad that your wife and child were here earlier. But we'll miss you. And as has also been said, I consider you a friend and look forward to seeing you and watching your son grow.
Oh,
But we will miss you.
thank you. Thank you all so much. Very heartwarming. Without a doubt, I've made lifelong friends. Big brothers, big sisters. See what I did there? And little sisters. And you don't get to talk much, but I want you to know I see you and I recognize all the hard work you do. Your 3,000 emails and reminders. I'm like, Marty, don't forget this. So I'm really, really grateful. And for what it is worth, I'm going to keep watching you guys. You have a YouTube channel for a reason. I know there's a lot of work in the pipeline. So I'm going to be watching to see how those are being, achieved and hopefully bring it to wherever I am and say, hey, by the way, Jefferson up the street, this is amazing things they're doing. So yeah, the seed has been planted, and I could not be happy you all were the ones that did the planting. So thank you.
And Marty, we were not so eloquent. We just made a beautiful certificate for you, but we didn't write a lot of acknowledgments, I'm now realizing. So there's not much to read out other than a certificate of appreciation presented to you for your dedication to the Jefferson Union High School District Board of Trustees. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. All right.
We're going to take a recess for our honorees. And I think we'll have a little refreshment out in the hallway.
Yeah.
Do I need to gavel?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's have Chelsea take.
This next item calls for an approval of minutes from board meetings from November 15th and November 18th.
Move to approve the minutes from November 15th and November 18th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please peruse the information and correspondence section. Sorry, feel free to peruse, not a command. Next item is the consent agenda. Does anyone have,
Move to approve consent.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We'll not be removing anything from the consent agenda. Public comment. Do we have any public comment?
That's
None.
you.
No, we don't. Okay, that is-
No public comment.
Yeah, no, we don't. No public comment this evening.
Sorry. Discussion items. 20A1 involves the board liaison assignments for 2026. Is that Ms. Presta?
Me?
I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Presta.
Thank you. Okay, so the board, we need to assign liaison representatives to various committees for the duration of January 1st, 2026 through December 30th, 2026. So the attached document is from 2025. We can use it as a reference guide when you are volunteering for new roles. We only have 4 people to divide these between. You know, I want to actually give a plug, Marty. You will not be the representative of the school board for Daly City Youth Health Center, but as a person who is also on that board, I know you can continue as a board member. I'm sure, just talk with Anya Shapiro, but I know that they would be thrilled to still have you as a board member. We would be thrilled to have you as a board member. You just wouldn't be the representative of the district. Cool. Okay. Okay. So if we start off with the Chamber of Commerce, so many of these liaison assignments, some of them are assignments where you are meeting bi-weekly or monthly, and there's many meetings, as you know, and then some, it's really just as needed. Another thing that I learned this year is that the County Committee on School District Organization, we're not supposed to have an alternate. You're only supposed to have the one. So we only need to elect one person for the coming year. So you can take a look at who was assigned last year, what you did last year, and if you are so moved to volunteer to do it again, or if you want to take on a new role, you can do that. So I'm just going to start at the top. So the Chamber of Commerce, if we liaise with the Chamber of Commerce of Daly City, Colma, Brisbane, or Pacifica. The board members who did this last year were Jerome and Andy. These are as needed meetings. I don't even think we had any last year, but is anyone interested in doing that in the coming year?
I'll continue I'll stay on.
Great. Andy?
Did you want to stay on that?
Do we only need one though, or is it?
No, I think we need 2.
Okay, so we do. Yeah, I can stay on it. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. The liaisons for the City of Daly City and the Jefferson Elementary School District.
I'll stay on that.
Awesome. Thank you. The City of Brisbane and the Brisbane School District. Jerome did it
I'll
last
stick with it.
Awesome. Thank you. City of Daly City and Bayshore School District.
Sure, I'll stay on it.
Thank you.
That's something you really, really, really want to do?
Oh, I'm happy to do it.
Good.
Did you want to do it? Is that why you're asking? Or
No,
just
I know
checking with him?
what that was. I'm not going to take that bait.
Okay. City of Pacifica and Pacifica School District. Charette, you did it last year. Are you interested, or is somebody else interested?
I'll do it actually because my son's in the school district. So.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Jerome.
Yep.
All right. The liaison for Summit Shasta.
I volunteer.
Okay. You good with that, Jerome?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. All right. The District Advisory Committee. These are meetings that happen that Corrine leads at the end of the year. Typically, Jerome and Andy have been on this. Are you interested in continuing, or is anybody else interested?
I'll stay.
Yeah, if nobody else is interested, I mean, it's as needed, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. The representative for career technical education. There's meetings that are countywide twice a year that you're supposed to attend. Charette did it before. Is somebody
2 years straight.
else interested in taking on CTE?
When are the meetings typically?
There's one in the fall and one in the spring. I don't know.
Is it daytime, evening,
No,
They're-
they're early evening.
or evening? I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we need a new representative for the Daly City Youth Health Center Advisory Board.
When do they meet?
They meet.
In the morning?
It's not in the morning now. It's in the afternoon. I don't know the day of the week.
How often?
Once a month.
Yeah, it's usually once a month, most Monday, like on a Monday.
It's Mondays?
Like a 4 p.m.
Yeah.
4 to 5. Yeah.
I can do that.
Can you? Awesome. Thank you, Rosie. They're most of the time online, but sometimes they're in person. So, okay. The County Committee on School District Organization. This is an annual meeting.
Yep, I'll do it.
Thank you, Andy. Student Advisory Council. So this has been Jerome and Charette because Andy had another commitment. Andy started the year, but then Charette has ended the year. This is one of the biggest commitments because it's the first and third Mondays of the month. Who is interested in doing that?
I've enjoyed it. I will
Going to
continue.
continue? Thank you. Is anybody else interested in taking that second seat?
Oh, so you can't do it.
Andy can't. Jerome, are you going to take a break? I'm looking at you. I don't want to apply pressure.
I was just waiting to see if anybody else, yeah, I'll stick with it.
Do you want to stick with? Okay. I wasn't sure if you were hoping to have a break, but you're good.
I could figure it out.
Okay. All right, good. Facility subcommittee. So it has been Andy and Rosie. Is anybody interested in that? Or Andy and Rosie, are you?
I'll stay on.
I'll stand.
Okay. Thank you. Educational Housing Corporation has been Andy and Charette. Are you interested in continuing?
Yes,
Or
yes, I'll stay on.
Andy will stay on?
I'll stay on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. The Sustainability Committee, Tina, it says as needed here, but don't you meet more frequently than as needed?
Right now, we're meeting twice a month. but
Twice a month.
The board liaison is really more of someone, if the committee has questions that they would like to have a board member representative.
So you
join the
invite
meeting.
them?
So we
You
have-
invite them?
Exactly. That's what we've done. We've invited them usually like twice a year, once at the kickoff meeting, and then usually like towards the end of the year when we're getting ready for our board presentation.
Okay, good. So this is really as needed, but kind of twice a year. So it was Marty. Is anybody interested in doing that? Rosie, thank you. All right. And then as needed, if we have a meeting with the Daly City Police Department and or the Pacifica Police Department, it has been Rosie and Jerome. I don't even actually think we've had one of these meetings in the last few years.
Haven't, but
Yeah.
I'll stay on.
I'll volunteer.
You volunteer? Okay, Rosie and Charette. I think that's it. Look how easy that was. Thank you for your service. All right.
All right.
Nothing's happening. That usually means I'm supposed to do something.
Excited.
It's
28.2, board policy update. Sorry, I don't have this pulled up
it's okay.
on the electronic copy.
You wanna just
which
turn it
is,
over to me?
There it is. Board policy update 28.2. Oh, Ms. Presta.
Thank you. So the reason why I'm bringing this is that we've had a couple of inquiries about naming of facilities lately. And so we took a look at the board policy because this isn't something that we do very frequently. And I want to update the policy. I did a little research and the board policy is verbatim what CSBA recommends. And so most school districts just have this policy, but we aren't really complying with it. And so the only change is Currently, it reads, the board encourages community participation in the process of selecting names. I suggest that remain. And I'm suggesting that we take out the line, a citizen advisory committee shall be appointed to review name suggestions and submit recommendations for the board's consideration. I don't think it's necessary to have a standing committee that is sort of always there, kind of looking for names to name around the district. I think we've never actually done that. So we just really want to make this match our practice. So it's my suggestion that we just take that line out. And so this is the discussion this month. And if you don't have suggestions, it'll come on next month as a consent item.
Any discussion, board?
Okay.
I should have reviewed this more closely than I have. It says the governing board shall name schools and other district-owned facilities. So I guess my question is, what if we don't want to name it anything?
Yeah.
May.
Why don't we just change that to May? I think that's a great suggestion, actually.
Yeah.
Is the board good with changing that to May?
I agree with that.
Best. Yep.
Wonderful.
So a question about the naming rights. So this seems so kind of odd to me. The board may grant to any person or entity the right to name any district building or facility. In doing so, the board shall enter into a written agreement. So if we grant to any person or entity the right to name a district building, what would that look like?
You know, sorry, were you going to say something? My assumption is that this just holds the possibility open. I think that some school districts actually charge and make money by naming it, Pepsi Cola Field, or you know what I mean, something like that. We can take away that. We can amend this. This is simply
it's
CSBA's recommended language, and so I think it's just open in the event that
Okay.
a board would wish to.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good with this as it is.
Okay. So I will bring it back next month with the additional change of changing the shall in that first paragraph to may. Okay. Thank you.
Good.
Uh, 20B1 is our school spotlight of Thornton High School. And Dr. Marenko, the principal of Thornton High School, will have the mic.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you all having us here. Before I get started, there's a couple of folks I'd like to first honor and acknowledge that they're here. First, our outstanding Thornton staff that is here to the right. And as part of our presentation today, we also have a representative of our school student body, specifically our Remote Independent Study Program, Miss Erica Willemi, and her mother. And Board of Trustees, Ms. Presta, Executive Cabinet, Ms. Johnson, thank you. Appreciate it. It's always an honor to be here with you all to share highlights about Thornton High School. And spoiler alert, it's about relevance. There's a lot of words that go into our vision and mission as a school. And specifically, when we talk about our school, how do I? You on button. Sorry. Okay, next slide. All right. So a lot of words go into our vision and mission. If we could sum it up into three, you're looking at them now. It's four. It's equity, growth, and community engagement. We pride ourselves on creating a culture and a community where we want to provide students what they need. And knowing that our community is in constant evolution. It's more about the process than the result. And a part of the process is being mindful and grateful for the growth. And for community engagement, we like to consider ourselves a place where not only do we pay back, but we also pay beside and pay forward for those that have assisted us in creating a culture that allows students to continue and move on into post-secondary goals. Next slide. So for today's presentation, there are 4 areas that I'd like to just highlight. They include student voice. We'd like to touch upon the recent data from the California School Dashboard, which essentially is providing what progress schools have made in the last year. We want to touch upon social and emotional learning and what that looks like at Thornton High School. And as part of our remote independent study presentation, there's a bit of an anecdotal that Erica will share with us as to what her experience has been like. Next slide. So in the area of student voice, a big part of our growth as a school community has a lot to do with how we continuously seek and request and create systems for getting students to share out and what students need and what they want. And a lot of the changes that we made as a school has a lot to do with our student voice. A part of that was the construction and the design of a mural that you see now as you enter campus. And the mural was a complete design of our students, the vision, the images, all student-driven, an example of student voice. Social and emotional learning is also a big part of student voice. The focus of our social and emotional learning for this particular quarter was focused on healthy decision-making, and that was by design, and that was by surveying our students, locating from their perspective what are those things that were most important to them. So in order for us to then provide them what they needed, we were able to get feedback from the students, and then through our social and emotional learning, professional learning community, construct ways for students to then discuss and reflect on their own versions of healthy decision-making. And then the third one here related to student voice is grading. An example of grading that I'd like to give you is in one of our classes, we have a process where the teacher and the student meet to reflect on their grade. There's a conversation about grading, and it's an opportunity where the teacher and the student talk about what the grade is, why the grade has been achieved, what are some moments that have been successful, what are some areas of growth, and what it creates is it creates more camaraderie, it creates more collaboration, and it creates more opportunities where the students feel like their grade is something that they have earned, that they've invested in, and that they own. Next slide. The second area that I'd like to highlight is the recent data from our California dashboard. Overall, it's pretty good. We've made strides in English language arts, or ELA. We've made strides in mathematics and in the area of English language learners, science, as well as our graduation rates. And those all are areas to celebrate. At the same time, those are all areas that we can certainly improve upon. And those areas that we can improve upon have been reflected in our single plan for student achievement, or school plan for student achievement. The GROWs include reduction in suspension rates, as well as an area that we are now paying additional attention to, which is the college and career indicators. Ways that we are addressing both includes the reliance on social and emotional learning, and ways that we could continue to educate rather than focus simply on disciplinary action, make it more of a collaborative effort working with as opposed to 2 and 4. And with regard to the college and career indicator, there's additional information that I'll provide towards the tail end of our presentation. Next slide. Social and emotional learning, it happens school-wide. Examples of it happening school-wide includes our weekly circles with the entire school. They include quarterly themes such as healthy decision making, as I've shared earlier, and they include the accessibility and utilization of our district resource, which is Wayfinder. Wayfinder provides lessons that are short and longer lessons so students can engage in activities as well as reflection on a variety of different social and emotional learning topics. The other is a way for students to then reflect on healthy decision making through weekly journaling and prompts that we create through the social and emotional professional learning community. Next slide. In the area of remote independent study, we have a variety of reasons why students choose RIS, short for remote independent study. And the most common denominator is it's a need. It's a need that our district has been supportive of for the last 4 years since we had returned from distance learning. And over that time, we've served close to 500 students. And we have very strong graduation rates in excess of 80%. So the majority of the students that are attending and finish off with us are graduating, and those that don't, in most cases, are because they have completed enough credits to then return back to in-person learning and to their home schools. Ironically and interestingly enough, in the surveys that we have conducted related to remote independent study, you would think that the experiences would create some form of isolation and distancing from the school community. The complete opposite. We've created systems where students are connected to us at minimum 1 day a week in person. And through surveys, we have learned from our students that there is a connection that they have with us because of that ability to connect with us, not just in person, but also through the check-ins that our counseling department does with students, as well as the teachers. So is it effective? Absolutely. It's had impacts on reductions in chronic absentee rates, as well as the increase of students that are college and career ready. So with that, we have the honor of hearing from one of our remote independent study students, Miss Erica Willemi, who will share a couple of minutes on her experience. Come on up, Erica.
Good evening. I'm Erica, a senior at Thornton High School. I've been there for 2 years now. And I would like to share a little bit about my story, a little background on my education and how I got to this point. So my COVID years were at 6th and 7th grade. And unfortunately, like many of my fellow students, I've gone downhill since then. And this is where I would also like to touch on the topic of disciplinary action as well. I found that a lot of teachers and some of my fellow students were subject to just not wanting to be heard out by teachers, staff, and others, which resulted in a lot of anxiety and other unfortunate feelings within myself at a very young age. So year after year, I found myself to be in kind of a dead zone, I would say. In my education, I couldn't find myself. I couldn't find where I stood mentally or emotionally, which is why I very much sympathize with any school board staff that really like to touch on mental health. So when it came to my junior year, I had a talk with my mother and said, I want to take a different route to my education. I'm tired of being put in harsh environments where I don't feel heard and I don't feel like I can grow, which is where we did some research and found Thornton High School, specifically their RIS program. And I came to them still in that dead zone, in that sort of dead mental headspace. And I'm very happy to say that they helped me grow and they helped me advance to something more than I thought I could get to. I have felt nothing short of absolute support with my decision to start my career early on equine therapy and the equine industry as a whole. I've also gotten much support on my decision to take a different route to college, that being a gap year after I graduate in May. I would like to also give special recognition to my lovely teachers, counselors, and more at Thornton High School that were able to get me to such a point. Thank you.
Erica, thank you again. And thank you, Ms. Millemi, for your support. Thank you. All right, next slide. We have needs and we have challenges. And a couple of the needs and a couple of the challenges are the ones that we'd like to highlight today. The needs include increasing resources to address this whole student, and oftentimes you hear about the whole student in our community and at Thornton High School, because we do the very best to individualize the educational experience of our students, is why we use the word this versus the whole student. And it's also in parallel with many of the continuation high schools in California, where much of the focus is this whole student versus the whole student. Additional needs include community partnerships to boost college and career indicators. And again, the word relevance, what we're finding with our students is the rigor is the relevance. And if we can create relevant and meaningful educational experiences, then the rigor will soon follow. The challenges include assessing fits for ninth grade students in RIS. More specifically, is what we're finding is as students are transitioning from middle school to ninth grade, looking more closely at what in-person learning could look like to begin with before transitioning to RIS is something that we want to have extended conversations with families about to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. A second challenge is addressing the disproportionate needs across diverse student groups. And what we mean by that is we have students that have many diverse needs, though if we see a high concentration of needs being met in one area, continuing to evaluate and assess all areas to make sure that all students' needs are met equitably. And then another challenge that we are embracing is while SEEP in its current form will be sunsetting at the end of the 25-26 school year, I'm happy to share with you all that the DNA of SEEP will live on in a variety of different forms, most notably our conversations with the district office as well as our colleagues looking at ways that SEEP's program can be continuously embedded in how students are learning here at Thornton High School. So more to come on that. Next slide. Planned improvements. There are other ways to improve college and career indicators, and one of which I teased earlier. One area that we are looking at is access and opportunities for students in pre-apprenticeship programs. So that includes community partnerships with not only Skyline College, which we have a growing and strong partnership with, but also other industries to provide students a variety of different pathways towards career readiness. Another planned improvement includes ongoing assessment to enhance the relevance in learning, continuing to seek student feedback so that that rigor can emerge based on the relevancy of what they're learning. Thornton High School, our survival depends greatly on interdisciplinary work, which we believe is central to educational experiences. So that also includes increasingly focus on cross-curricular experiences so that elements of humanities, science, and mathematics can be experienced at a variety of different places on our campus. The expansion of partnerships, not only strengthening our current partnerships that we have in our school, but also looking at other ways that we can improve and seek other partnerships to strengthen the services that we provide our students. And again, building upon the legacy of SEEP, or the Community Environmental Education Program, continuing to put the C in our community, continuing to make sure that students are experiencing learning where they can learn from each other, they can learn collaboratively, and they can continue to understand what they're learning, how that learning matters in terms of their impact on their communities. And then before I end, next slide. And then before I end and say thank you, a couple of things that I'd like to remind you all. The first is there's been an invitation recently for you all to, if you're available, attend our Feast of Resistance, which is a culminating event that we have on Friday, December 19th, starting at 10:45. It was a pilot program that we started this quarter, combining all of our homeroom teachers to construct one course that is rooted in ethnic studies. And part of that event is a celebration of our culture of foods. So come hungry, because we'll have lots of different foods that honor our history, our voices, and our communities. Thank you.
I think after such presentations, we do a little discussion. Would you like to start, Trustee Gallegos?
Yeah. Dr. Marenko, thank you. Erica, thank you for sharing your story. I want to start off by saying I've always been a little partial since I've been up here on this dais to Thornton, because I graduated from Thornton myself. That was 30 years ago now. So education has changed a lot in that time. And it really makes me proud to see how far it's come and how much work, we're putting into making this a student first approach, and how we emphasize that in every little thing that we're doing. And you're just kind of bullet pointing all those really important things that I think that were just not considered, back in my day, as far as really kind of focusing in on the student's individuality and their needs. And it's super important. Obviously, we know that, and I didn't experience a pandemic, Erica, so I can't say that I know your experience from that standpoint, but I was a student that didn't have a lot. I was a student that struggled, figuring out how to get to school, figuring out, how my grandmother was going to feed us. I mean, so we didn't have a lot either, so I do have some experience with that. And I know how it's hard to focus on education when you're living that life, and how difficult that can be. So the fact that, we have adults and people and a school board and a district that takes this so seriously the way we do, it just really makes me happy to see that. And I really appreciate all your hard work that's going into that, and everybody at Thornton. Keep up the great work.
Amazing. And thank you for being brave, Erica. I see you, I recognize you, and have a lot of respect. And I also want to just echo that the pandemic, I think, just unmasked something that always existed, right? Not every student is naturally gonna study in the same conventional system that we have. It might not necessarily be even motivated by hardship, right? Some kids just want a different lens, different time schedule. I speak for myself, not a morning person. So I actually worked most mornings, and I went in college. I would actually took most of my classes in the evening. I find I could focus more. I've kind of run around all day. I'll go play soccer, and then when I go to class, I'm a lot more alert. And my BSN actually was online. So I'm a testament to that yes. And I couldn't be more prouder that we are in a school district that recognizes this and is working to adapt and really listen and work with our students. One thing I would like to ask, Principal, Dr. Marenko, sorry. I'm like, I know it starts with an M. Is just like some specific numbers. Like the percentage of chronic absenteeism, which is something that was a really big highlight even during our CSBA conference. Was like, this is something that's really affecting schools. And they highlight like, oh, like remote learning students, like, well, what are the actual numbers? Right. So I would have been curious to just see like some of those numbers, especially during the pandemic, post-pandemic, kind of, 4 or 5 years out now, what that kind of looks like. But honestly, without a doubt, the fact that you have a student here at this late at night to testify to a program, I have no doubt. Equine therapy, I didn't even know what that was. So I learned something new today. And so thank you for that. And then you mentioned that students keep engagement by checking in with staff. How do students engage with each other on like that student? Because that interaction is very different, right? Like that, I run into you in the hallway and we bump shoulders or we banter. How do you achieve that with these students in this setting?
Thank you for asking that. We recently had conversations about that dynamic. And what we kept going back to was, how do we create conditions where the in-person experience can be seen and felt in the remote experience? And one strategy that we've used recently is part of what we create is our Google Classroom. And there was a time where the in-person experience and the remote experience and those students were separated. It was a transition where we ended up integrating the two, and the communication towards in-person students and remote students were all in the same. And what that has resulted in is it's resulted in RIS students participating in in-person events, which includes our ropes courses. It includes visits to different community-based instruction, or what used to be called field trips. And then also even community service projects where we had some students in our RIS program sign up and then socialize and participate with our in-person students. So what the takeaway for us was, yes, we started out separate, but wanting to make sure that we provided an equitable experience for our RIS students led us into integrating in the use of technology to then bring us together and communicating information as if we are all one family.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Thank you. Thank you for that presentation, Dr. Marenko. It's pretty evident that equity is just the overarching theme of the work that you do at the school. And really the focus on mental wellness, which is really clear. I mean, we can't take care of the children's their mindset and their mental health. They're not going to be able to learn. And so the fact that everything is done through that lens is powerful. Can you tell me a little bit about the whole teacher-student meeting about their grades and the reflections? What typically happens? How much time does that take? When does that happen?
We have part of what we needed to do is we needed to create the system to ensure that students and teachers were able to meet. And we made some changes to the schedule to allow teachers to have a period during the day where they would schedule these meetings with students. In a lot of cases, those meetings happen individually, and there are some cases where a teacher is able to coordinate a time for small group sessions. And it's during those sessions where a variety of different things happen. For one, it's a wellness check-in. How are you doing? What's going on? Similar to when the teacher greets a student at the door. How was your day? Or I noticed this about you. Good job on this. So it's a personal check-in. And then from there, it's a transition into here's where you're making progress and things are looking great based on the color coding system that the system we use shares with us. And then if we're slightly off track or falling off track, we talk about what's getting in the way. And then what are some strategies that we go about improving upon those. There's progress reports that the RIS students also receive, similar to our in-person students. And we don't wait very long to then have those critical meetings with families, be it in person or virtual, where if we are struggling or there's some changes that we're hoping to see that we're moving slower than we expected, that then we talk about what are some other ways that we can support before we then start having conversations about an in-person experience. Okay. And again, we don't wait very long for that to happen because we want to make sure that the students are served efficiently, and because we have a certain time frame so that a student can earn a grade, that then we talk about what are some options for them to explore.
That's really great. I really like that. The fact that you're able to spend that time, one-on-one time with the student. I think that's really powerful, and it really works well in your smaller school setting.
And it wasn't like that to start. I mean, we did start with just, they were online, but our RIS team meets biweekly, and we're constantly looking to improve. And one of the conversations was, well, let's try this.
Right.
And it's the cliche, but we're building the plane in midair.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the plane fly higher and higher because of these structures that we're putting in place. And we're seeing the results in terms of the students that are showing up based on the attendance, and then them earning grades.
Yep.
that are passing.
Well, I'm excited for this because I would imagine that we're going to see your dashboard scores and everything else will show improvement, but most importantly, the students themselves are learning and they're gaining confidence in what they're learning and being able to succeed and move forward. And so kudos to you and the whole team for doing this incredible work with our students. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your great presentation, and to our Thornton family here, once again, showing up. You always show up and always supporting. And, Thornton, I grew up right in that neighborhood. So, so I also have a spot in my heart for you guys. How many RES students do we have right now?
66.
Wow, really amazing. And I love the analogy that you gave us that you're building an airplane in midair, because it's, but the success rate seems really awesome. I'd love to see the data from that in the future. And I want to commend Erica for taking, you came up here without any notes, so confident. I didn't think you were a student. When you were sitting here, I thought you were a community member. I was waiting for you to speak a public comment, or maybe you're a vendor. You wanted to share something with us. And then when he told me in the hallway that you have a student here, I went, where's the student? And then I realized it was you. So confident, so eloquent, came up here, no notes, speaking from the heart. You really gave us a strong picture of what you're getting out of this program, and that you, as a junior, you took control of your education and you sought out a program that was going to work better for you. That says a lot about your character, and I think if you continue with that, you're going to go far. And you really are, a model of what we can do in this district and what Thornton can offer. And I really thank you, and thank Dr. Marenko for having you here, because this is how we learn, by hearing directly from you. And I also want to thank Thornton for providing us with some great student trustees, and over the last 2 years, and they offer perspective that all of our students need to hear, and they're always so, they speak from the heart, and they all graduate early. That is the thing. I mean, at Thornton graduation, I see students who I hadn't seen since they were little in elementary school. And I see the parents and I think, oh my God. And then I went, wait, he's here, and he's 6 feet tall. He's no longer the little third grader I used to know. And, but they all say, if it weren't for Thornton, we wouldn't know. He has a deep respect for education. He has a future now because now he believes in himself. And that's the thing, is that Thornton doesn't, they try so hard and they're so successful. You're so successful in not letting kids slip through the cracks. And whenever we hear from our students at Thornton, it reminds me of why I'm a school board member. Because usually they're heartfelt stories about how, for whatever reason, they weren't engaging in in a different school, and they came to Thornton, and they enjoyed coming to school every day and connecting with people who know them and won't let them fail. So, and I know that leadership comes from you as well. Everyone there, you walk onto the campus and it's like a family. So I really appreciate that. And I love how you zero in on social and emotional learning, because I think that's something, especially for the students going there, really need that. Let's see, and I love how you say glows and grows. I love that. That's the way we should all look at things. I love the grading, the conversations, so that the student is invested in their future and understanding. And then that's how they also learn advocacy. Because so many times, if you're in a large classroom and, how many times have I heard a teacher say, well, you need to advocate better. You need to advocate for yourself. Well, here, it's the natural course of things. Let's go over the grading. It's not always easy to speak to an adult. But here, you're having your conversation about your future, which I think is fantastic. Let's see. And I will be attending the Feast of Resistance. I love that name. And I just want to thank you again for everything you do for our students and our community. Thank you very much, Thornton.
Thanks, Dr. Marenko, for your presentation. Thanks to everyone from the community who showed up, Erica, staff. You spoke about a lot of things that I'm trying to summarize. I think that, what you're talking about here is facing these challenges. A few of them are traditional, serving students who need some service, whatever reason, not being served somewhere else. And what you're doing is meeting all those traditional challenges that take place. Also see you meeting new challenges. A big one, starting to age a little bit, is COVID. I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. So I think that what happened during COVID is evident of other things that happen in our society. It's a little bit different to us. We haven't seen it before, but, all kinds of challenges with equity, with service, mental health questions are bigger than COVID, and it just amplified what kind of needs we have. And I think it's very daring to take on these challenges and to answer them for our students. And I think that, Lawrence had some success with this. by building two-way trust with, the students and families, with the community. So congratulations and thank you very much. Presta?
Thank you. I'm going to be kind of brief because it's now 9:04. Dr. Marenko, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much, Thornton staff, for being here. As has already been mentioned, you guys always show up in solidarity, and it is noticed. It means a lot to us and to your students and the community, so thank you. A couple things I want to say that I think haven't already been said. I'm super proud of Thornton, and I'm really excited and looking forward to hearing about your model continuation school application. There were evaluators who came from the state and met with many of us, and I know that they were very impressed with your program. And I just know from being on your site that you are seeing your students, that you all see your students every day, that you have relationships with your students. They know that you care about them. And honestly, I think in every school, that's the it factor. That's the secret sauce. That if students know that there are the adults and the other people on their campus, the students, the staff, care about them, it makes all the difference in the world. And there's no question in my mind when I walk on to Thornton and, Miss Liz is sitting with the students and I walk around, I see all of you outside with them. When I've been to your, is it called community circle? Yeah, it's wonderful. They are seen and they know that they are important and they know that they matter and they know that they have bright futures. So I just want to thank you for that, because you make a big difference in the lives of our young people. And I also want to say that I thought Erica was like a visiting adult and I was like, hi, are you here to represent Thornton, to support them? And she's like, yeah, I'm a student. I was like, wow, you are so mature. So thank you so much. And I'm excited to hear about more about your equine therapy. I think that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Student services. We have a board policy update about emergency schedules. Ms. Basuino.
Good evening, President Walker,
Good evening.
members of the board. BP 3516.5 emergency schedules is being updated to include that our instructional continuity plans are in our school safety plans. As a reminder, instructional continuity plans refer to a protocol for how the LEA will engage with pupils and their families as soon as practical, but no later than 5 calendar days following an emergency.
Any discussion? Is this a matter that will appear?
First read, and then next, if there's nothing, then it'll go on consent next.
Thank you.
meeting.
Will you please tell us about BP 5113?
Yes. Board Policy 5113, absences and excuses, is being updated to include language regarding teachers providing equivalent assignments and/or tests to students for full credit for an excused absence.
Questions, discussion? You, Ms. Basuino. 21A1, classified longevity clarification side letter. Ms. Lujan.
Good evening, everyone. The district and the American Federation of Teachers, Local 1481, entered into a side letter agreement. The purpose of this side letter is to provide clarification as to the actual compensation amounts for longevity that classified employees receive at certain points after they've been with us after 8 years, after 12 years, 16, so on and so forth. This came up because the public employee retirement system, the retirement system for our classified employees, said that our longevity compensation was not clear enough, so we tried to make it as clear as possible. And I welcome any questions.
You need an action from us, right?
Move to approve the longevity clarification side letter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 21B1, we have the first interim budget report for 25-26. Ms. Van Raphorst.
Thank you, President Walker. Good evening, board members. Before you tonight is the 25-26 first interim report submitted for your approval. I will provide a high-level overview of the documents that you have received. Please feel free to ask questions along the way or at the end. Like I said, I am going to be very brief because you've had these documents and I haven't received any questions. So I think that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I won't spend a lot of time on the documents today. Ed Code requires that we provide an update to the board every quarter. And this is the update that is for July 1st through October 31st. The board is required to certify in one of three ways, either a positive certification indicating that the district will be able to meet its financial obligations, qualified certification where their ability to meet those obligations is unclear, or a negative certification where the ability to meet those financial obligations is that they won't be able to. As outlined in the report that I've provided, I'm recommending that you certify us as a positive certification for the first interim report because indications are that we will be able to meet our financial obligations. This is the time of year when I try to explain to you a little bit about how this report compares to our projections at budget adoption, and it compares almost exactly in all of these key indicators. At June budget compared to first interim report, our average daily attendance is very similar. The property tax increase is exactly the same. Our supplemental funds are almost the same. The minimal proportionality, which is how much of those the supplemental funds contribute to our population, is the same. And the retirement system has finally stabilized, so we aren't seeing big variations for either STRS or PERS. One change I did make is when we had our adopted budget, I had both 26-27 and 27-28 as 4% increases, and I've reduced 27-28 because the county assessor's office has revised those projections lower. But that is pretty far out, so it could change. We will remain community funded, which means we are receiving more in property taxes than our LCFF formula indicates that we need to educate our students. The orange bar shows what we would receive if we were LCFF funded. And as you can see, that is a pretty much flat line. The blue bar shows what is projected for us to receive in property taxes as a community-funded district, and the gap between those two bars continues to grow. So for this year, it's projected that we will get 28% more funding than our formula dictates. As I've explained before, that this does create a lot of uncertainty because taxes are unpredictable and can be volatile. So we need to make sure that we're being careful and keeping a close eye on how the markets change. Also, it means that enrollment is not part of our equation. If we get more students, we will not get more funding. If we lose students, we will not lose funding. So it's just something that I like to remind people of every time I get a chance. This is a closer look at some more components of our budget compared to when we adopted it versus now in first interim. In our revenue, the biggest changes were in the other state revenue. The state did give us a $1.1 million one-time discretionary grant. That was a grant that goes to all school districts. That's our share of it, is 1.1 million based on our enrollment. And we also had some additional grant funds that were received for CTE. The increases in the certificated and classified salaries is because I failed to budget for substitutes in those areas. As you know, we had a financial system change over the past year, and I did not realize that those were not included in our original budget. Those are the major changes. We did have better than expected revenue in the previous year in 24-25, which allowed us to have a better starting balance than we projected. But we also had more carryover in our restricted funds than was expected. So our overall unrestricted reserve actually went down by 1.2 million, even though our ending fund balance went up because of the restricted fund. So we are looking at 12.4% of reserves. Let's see what else I want to highlight. So the multi-year projection, I'd like to go over the assumptions real quick. We did have a 4% salary increase for 25-26, but there are no other salary increases in this multi-year projection. There is an acknowledgement that we're covering 100% of increases to district paid health benefits for all but the highest cost plan. And in the out years, those will be negotiated, and what I budgeted for were increases that matched inflation. We all know that healthcare costs have been going up faster than inflation, so if we don't negotiate a higher rate, then the employees will have to pick up some in the out years, 26, 27, and 27, 28. Contributions to Fund 11 and Fund 13. As we went over during the actuals report for 24-25, those two programs are running over budget. So our adult school and our food service program will need to make reductions. And we have been working with our labor partners to discuss potential layoffs in those programs. I have put into the budget $180,000 to contribute from the general fund to adults education, which is Fund 11, and $160,000 to contribute to the school nutrition program. And those numbers are less conservative than I typically, if I'm being conservative, those numbers might be higher. But I didn't want to blow our budget all the way out of the water while we're watching, we're monitoring. And then we have contributions to Fund 17 continuing. Our board policy recommends that we keep 1% in reserves, 3% in reserves for Fund 17. And so right now we're at 1.6 almost reserves in Fund 17, and we will be looking to continue to increase that. And then the last assumption that I'd like to point out is that we are budgeting in 26-27 to expand opportunities for students at Oceana and Terra Nova by hopefully increasing staff for a 7-period day, or at least some other bell schedule that might increase opportunities for students the way we have at Jefferson and Westmore. With that, you can see that we still have reserves well above the required minimum. We are required to keep 3% reserves in our general fund, and we have 12.4 for the current year, 8.15 and 5.52 in the general fund for the 2 out years. And when you include Fund 17, that becomes 13.99, 10.03, and 7.42. I would point out that we have a structural deficit. You can see the deficit for the current year is projected to be 4.3 million, and for the next 2 years to stay over 4 million. And so we need to make sure we're keeping a close eye on that to make sure that our reserve funds will be able to carry us through until we can balance the budget. And then the last page here just goes over the timeline for our budget adoptions and revisions. The next time I will bring an update to you is in March, showing the actual spending through January. Are there any questions? And if not, or either way, this is an action item.
No.
Any questions?
Just a quick comment. It is actually kind of crazy to look at us being 128%.
Yeah.
And looking at over 130 in the out years. I still just can't wrap my head around that, considering we were, where we came from and being a flipper for so long. So and thank you for this. I feel better about where we're at for right now, but I know there are some potential challenges ahead, and I know we've got some other discussions coming up. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Tina, thank you for always helping us understand this really kind of overwhelming budget that you have to deal with and figure out. And your predictions were pretty damn good. So I would say, yeah, you're doing something right over there. So we really appreciate that. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's still always a lot, and it'll always be a lot, I think. So it's just hopefully we'll figure out a way to get some more money so we don't have to make cuts.
And definitely thank you again for taking care of business. With you at the helm, I do not worry about this.
Does she do that every day? Every way?
Every day.
Thank you.
This is a year of this. We have to. So, but the executive summary always, really, really helpful. Thank you again for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I echo that. Thank you for always being so patient, first of all, especially with me, and getting these numbers to where that we can make sense of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. The negatives in there, don't freak out. Tina's got it. Like, I'm like, can I borrow your magic wand? Like, just being able to, just my projections. I was like, really, it's like staring the ship into the bay on a nice Carl-dominated day. You just know where the bridge is and know how to avoid it. So, compliments.
I'd like to thank you too, especially describing deficit spending enough times that I actually understand it. And seriously, not to advise us that what it means for our planning. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So this is an action item.
Move to approve the first interim budget.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Any future agenda items to consider?
No.
You know what time it is.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 9:23.
Thanks, Marty.